It's pitch black over the Dnipro River. The only light comes from hundreds of headlights creeping across a narrow bridge, a 5-mile line of Russian armor and ammunition, rumbling like a steel serpent in the dark. Every truck in this formation carries the firepower to keep 10,000 soldiers fighting. This convoy is carrying Moscow's confidence into the upcoming peace talks. Radar units scan the sky, convinced that the only danger lies above them. But hidden just below the asphalt, motionless and silent, something far cheaper and far smarter is waiting to strike. This formation is the backbone of Russia's southern war effort. More than 300 vehicles packed with ammunition, fuel, and command equipment push forward in a single line. If they reach the other side, 10,000 Russian troops stay armed and dangerous. And at the negotiation table, Moscow gets to talk tougher. To keep this convoy safe, mobile air defense units lead and guard the column. Radar sweeps the sky for incoming threats. Missiles stand ready to fire at anything that dares to fly overhead. On paper, nothing gets through. That confidence influences every decision tonight. Russian commanders are fully focused on what might appear from above. No cameras check the water. No sensors track the steel beneath their wheels. They believe control of the air means control of the battle. That belief is the first mistake. Bolted to the bridge's understructure sits the real threat. Small FPV drones are disguised as rusted equipment and ignored like background noise. They cost a fraction of the machines rolling above, yet carry enough punch to cripple the convoy. These drones don't rely on pilots, nor do they wait for GPS. Their navigation is built around the bridge itself. Every beam and girder becomes a guide. For 72 hours, they've stayed completely still, conserving power, waiting for a single encrypted cue from a Ukrainian operator miles away. Russia's defenses are looking in the wrong direction. They planned for attacks launched from the sky, easy to jam and even easier to shoot. They never considered a strike that rises from below their armor and bypasses every early warning system they trust. And the longer the convoy sits on the bridge, the stronger that quiet advantage becomes. The ambush doesn't begin with gunfire. It starts with tires. Long hours on rough roads take their toll, and cheap rubber begins to fail. A few trucks slow to a crawl, and the entire 5-mile line compresses into a choke point right in the middle of the bridge. For Ukraine, this is the moment the AI expected. The ideal target is a stalled one, trapped above deep water with nowhere to escape. Inside a hidden command post, a Ukrainian operator watches the convoy's speed drop on his screen. Next, one encrypted signal reaches the bridge. Underneath the steel deck, silent machines wake, motors spin up, and sensors align. The drones slide from their clamps and form into coordinated groups, each assigned to fuel, ammunition, or command vehicles. And with the convoy stuck above them, every target is now locked into place. Trouble doesn't announce itself with explosions. It shows up as confusion. Radio traffic spikes, and drivers complain about delays. On the other hand, officers demand answers nobody has. Inside one of the air defense trucks, a junior radar operator stares at his screen. The returns look messy, interference close to the waterline where nothing should be moving. His system wasn't built to track threats hugging the river, so the data feels like a glitch. However, years of boredom teach you to spot the one moment worth paying attention to. He switches his radar into an active mode that isn't usually used here. The sudden pulse lights up something directly underneath the bridge. No identification tag or movement pattern that matches a boat or swimmer. It's just a brief, clean shape. He doesn't follow protocols, but rather his instincts. So, a missile launches. It finds a small object below and detonates in a bright, useless flash. Instead of relief, it creates shock. The blast shakes the vehicles ahead. Brakes slam, and the stalled formation turns into a wall of steel, frozen on a narrow span. Now alarms scream, men shout, and the calm belief in their defenses disappears. Something attacked from exactly where they weren't looking, and nobody knows if more are coming. Panic replaces surprise, and the actual threat has yet to reveal itself. The explosion forces Russian commanders to treat the situation as an active engagement rather than a mechanical delay. Orders rush across the network, demanding a clear identification of the threat. The radar operator who fired the missile provides the only concrete detail available. Something existed below the bridge that did not match any category in their threat library. That alone creates urgency, because an unknown target suggests a tactic they have never trained against. Higher command brings more powerful sensors into the response. An airborne radar platform far from the bridge receives the alert and begins scanning the entire area. Its vantage point and computing power make it capable of isolating extremely small objects near the structure, even through atmospheric noise. Soon this aircraft supplies a refined tracking solution to the ground units, which confirms continuing movement beneath the convoy. With that information, a long-range missile system farther from the river becomes involved. Its operators do not hesitate, because the radar cue comes from a source they trust. The battery launches a high-speed interceptor designed to eliminate fast aerial threats, not something that operates only a few feet above the water. From their perspective, the engagement now appears simple. A target has been identified, and a weapon has been assigned to remove it. Inside the Ukrainian command post, the incoming missile warning leaves no time for debate. The drones were engineered for stealth and short-range defense against jamming, rather than for outrunning guided weapons of this class. Their onboard systems activate a countermeasure designed specifically for this situation. A device extends away from the drone on a thin line, projecting a signal that looks far more attractive to the interceptor than the drone itself. It works exactly as intended. The Russian missile adjusts course, chases the decoy, and detonates high above the river. The blast confirms nothing except that the true attack has not been stopped. Russian operators now know they are dealing with a threat that can resist their most advanced defenses, and the uncertainty that follows is far more disruptive than the failed interception. The convoy remains stuck on the bridge. The defenses are alert, but uncertain, and the drones remain active. The engagement has escalated sharply, yet Russia still has no clear understanding of what it is fighting. When the Russian missile explodes harmlessly, every defensive system shifts focus upward, convinced a second attempt will arrive the same way. Their radars sweep the sky, and their crews watch for incoming shapes against the clouds. That decision creates a blind spot directly under their own position. The drones respond the moment that attention drifts. They rise from the river, hugging the pillars that support the bridge, and match themselves to points where the weight of the convoy is highest. The earlier jam makes this easy. Ammunition, fuel, and command vehicles are packed tightly over a few critical spans. Taking out those supports would drop the entire column into the river at once. When each drone reaches its target, the charges push through the inner frame of the bridge instead of exploding on contact. Concrete splits inward, and the steel inside begins tearing from the strain. The blasts force the supports sideways, twisting them in ways they were never built to withstand. The roadway stalls for a second under the load, then buckles. Trucks tilt, slide, and fall as the central lanes drop away. Several ammunition carriers plunge into the water and erupt, sending fire rolling up through the gaps. Flames move from one vehicle to the next, and the convoy goes from stalled traffic to uncontrolled destruction. In the space of a few heartbeats, what appeared to be a secure advance has turned into a complete loss without a single warning shot from the sky. Russian soldiers look out over a scene that feels unreal. The road they just drove across is torn apart in several places, and sections of concrete slide into the current while equipment burns in the distance. Vehicles that looked unstoppable an hour earlier lie scattered in the current, their ammunition cooking off in delayed flashes beneath rising smoke. The troops who depended on this convoy for ammunition and fuel now face a silent threat: time. The force on the warfield will now lose access to the bullets and fuel they need, and with each hour, their capacity to hold ground will diminish. Command posts tracking the battle can see the consequences approaching on every screen. The message delivered by the attack is visible from the sky and understood across headquarters. A low-cost, hidden weapon has erased a strategic advantage that seemed secure, and a carefully prepared show of strength has collapsed into a scene of isolation and uncertainty. Technology like this proves that smart ideas can flip a battle overnight. If you were in Ukraine's position, facing a larger enemy with overwhelming resources, what kind of trap would you create to change the outcome? Tell us your idea in the comments. Make sure to subscribe for more strategies that influence the future of war, and share this video with someone who needs to understand how quickly power can change when the right minds get involved.